Welcome to Iraqi Dinar News, your trusted destination for accurate financial insights and timely updates on Iraq's evolving economy. The current date in the United States is July 28, 2025, and we are now witnessing a defining chapter in the financial history of Iraq. With full support from the U.S. government and no sanctions obstructing progress, the Iraqi dinar's revaluation is gaining unprecedented momentum. This moment could prove to be a turning point for both the Iraqi people and global investors, watching closely from the sidelines. What's unfolding right now might be hard to believe. The United States has officially expressed its backing for Iraq's efforts to revalue its currency, a move that has stunned many analysts and reshaped expectations across global financial markets. Even more significantly, this endorsement comes at a time when no international sanctions are hindering Iraq's progress. The doors are wide open, and that has sparked new interest from institutional investors and private holders alike. Could this be the long-awaited leap that propels Iraq's economy onto the world stage? To understand the excitement surrounding this development, we need to look at where Iraq has come from. For decades, Iraq's path to a stable currency has been derailed by conflict, political disorder, and tight international restrictions. But those barriers are now receding. What's changed is not only Iraq's internal reforms, but also a clear shift in global perception. For the first time in many years, the United States isn't just observing Iraq's economic reform, it's actively encouraging it. And with no sanctions to block progress, the road ahead is clearer than ever. Revaluing the Iraqi dinar, commonly referred to by its currency code, IQD, means adjusting its official exchange rate against major foreign currencies, such as the US dollar. To illustrate, if 1,000 dinars previously equaled $1, a revaluation could reduce that to 500 or even 200 dinars per dollar. In real terms, this increases the worth of every dinar held. The benefits ripple outward, boosting Iraq's purchasing strength, raising real wages, and restoring both local and international confidence in the currency. For the average Iraqi citizen, this could result in more affordable imported goods and greater value in everyday savings. For those abroad who have held on to IQD for years, the potential for significant returns has never felt more real. But the revaluation isn't just about financial numbers, it's a message. Iraq is beginning a new chapter, and with America's explicit support, the world is paying attention. Why has former President Trump's administration and current U.S. officials shown this level of support now? The answer lies in a long-standing objective: ensuring Iraq evolves into a stable and self-sustaining partner in the Middle East. With over 2 decades of military, humanitarian, and diplomatic involvement, Washington has had a vested interest in Iraq's recovery and success. Today, with the groundwork finally bearing fruit, the U.S. sees real potential in Iraq's shift toward modernization and global financial integration. In recent months, discussions between Iraqi leaders and senior figures within the U.S. Treasury and financial institutions have focused on a shared vision, one rooted in transparency, modernization, and digitization of Iraq's banking sector. That collaboration has yielded progress. Iraq's financial systems are becoming more aligned with international standards, and that progress has helped build the trust needed for Washington to openly support the revaluation effort. Much of the credit belongs to the Central Bank of Iraq, which has been spearheading this transformation for several years. Its strategic push to digitize banking operations, enforce stronger anti-corruption measures, and engage with international partners is gaining international credibility. In fact, the U.S. Treasury has acknowledged these reforms and is now collaborating with Iraqi institutions to help them expand their access to the global banking network. Iraq's detailed 2-year roadmap to integrate with the global economy is already bearing early results, and the IQD revaluation is a centerpiece of that plan. So what does all this mean for Iraq's population? In everyday terms, it means a better shot at financial stability. When a country's currency gains strength, imported goods become less expensive. That translates into lower cost for food, medicine, and fuel. It also helps curb inflation and lets families make their money go further. For businesses, especially small and medium-sized enterprises, this can be a game changer. Those that depend on importing goods or working with international partners will benefit from increased purchasing power and growing consumer confidence. The emotional and psychological lift of a revalued currency is equally important. A stronger dinar becomes a symbol of progress. People start to feel more secure. They spend more freely, take business risks, and invest in the future. This sets off a chain reaction, one where hope turns into action, and action leads to real, measurable economic growth. The effect isn't just local. For global investors, this development marks a dramatic shift. Iraq is now seen as a more stable, promising environment for international capital. Sectors like energy, real estate, agriculture, and tech are now positioned to draw billions in investment. That money would fuel new infrastructure, create jobs, and modernize services across the country. Still, experts warn against moving too quickly. While a revaluation carries immense opportunity, poor handling could backfire. If the dinar rises too fast, Iraqi goods might become too expensive for export markets. That's why careful planning, steady communication, and incremental policy execution are essential. Iraq must strike a balance between embracing a stronger currency and supporting local industries that will need time to adjust. Looking at Iraq's past, the shift is nothing short of historic. The dinar has long struggled under the weight of sanctions, hyperinflation, and political turmoil. Confidence in the currency was, for years, almost non-existent. But today, with a new economic framework and stronger global relationships, the scene is completely different. This isn't just about increasing exchange rates. It's about rebuilding credibility and reclaiming financial independence. There's also the question many dinar holders are asking: what if Iraq removes zeros from the currency? While the thought might stir panic, it's often just a technical step to simplify transactions and recalibrate the monetary system. It doesn't automatically diminish value. What matters most is how the change is explained and rolled out. Clarity and consistency from the central bank and government leaders will be crucial in maintaining trust and preventing confusion. The foundation of this entire process is public confidence. People must understand what's happening and why. That begins with open communication, followed by gradual, predictable steps. Abrupt shifts can shake markets and sow panic. Smart reform, on the other hand, builds stability. And most importantly, investments in jobs, education, and infrastructure are what truly secure Iraq's economic future. As this transformation gains momentum, its influence is being felt well beyond Iraq's borders. Across Europe, Asia, and North America, economic observers are tuning in. From elite financial journals to high-level investment briefings, the conversation around Iraq has changed. No longer viewed solely through the lens of war and instability, Iraq is now emerging as a potential economic success story, one that could bring balance to both regional and global markets. A stronger, more dependable Iraqi dinar introduces new stability to Middle Eastern financial dynamics. Trade partnerships may expand as countries see an opportunity to do business with a nation on the rise. Supply chains could shift, especially with Iraq's central location between major markets. Geopolitical cooperation may improve, as economic development often leads to better security and governance. The broader impact is clear. A revitalized Iraq strengthens not only its own borders, but the entire region. Former President Trump's administration had long emphasized energy independence and strategic alliances. While his time in office has ended, his emphasis on stronger regional partnerships has continued under current policymakers. Iraq remains a vital part of that vision, especially with its vast oil reserves, untapped industrial sectors, and a population eager to participate in a new economic era. One area receiving fresh attention is infrastructure. With billions in potential foreign investment now on the table, Iraq could finally rebuild roads, power grids, communication systems, and industrial zones that have languished for years. Improved infrastructure doesn't just boost commerce, it strengthens civil society. Better transport means better access to education, healthcare, and jobs. In turn, This cultivates a more empowered and skilled workforce. Technology is another area where Iraq could leap forward. With support from international tech firms and financial institutions, Iraq's shift toward a digital economy may be accelerated. This includes mobile banking platforms, secure payment gateways, and fintech innovations tailored to local needs. For a country where many citizens still operate outside the formal banking sector, digital tools can be the bridge to inclusion and economic empowerment. But while optimism is rising, this is not the time for complacency. The revaluation process is not a switch, it is a sequence. Iraq's leadership must remain focused, and the central bank must continue to provide clear updates and measured actions. Trust is earned step by step. Markets do not respond well to silence or surprises. Every move must be made with transparency, coordination, and care. Public education will also be essential. Citizens, whether they hold dinars in local accounts or under mattresses, need to understand what changes are happening and how it affects them. Outreach campaigns, school-based financial literacy programs, and community workshops could help demystify the revaluation and empower people to make sound financial decisions. Without that awareness, reform risks being misunderstood, or worse, misused. Investors, too, need ongoing information. Many have waited years, even decades, for signs of this moment. But as with all investment scenarios, timing and understanding are key. The opportunity may be significant, but it's not automatic. Every investor must assess their position, monitor developments, and proceed with caution and clarity. The revaluation may be the start of something big, but it's not a guarantee. It's a gateway. The psychological shift is perhaps the most powerful part of this moment. After years of doubt, delay, and defeat, Iraqis are beginning to feel a renewed sense of ownership over their economic future. A rising dinar isn't just about money, it's about national pride. It sends a message to the world. Iraq is not a crisis zone. It is a country of potential, of progress, and of people ready to shape their own destiny. The Iraqi diaspora, long scattered due to conflict and hardship, may also play a major role in this revival. Many expatriates have retained emotional and financial ties to their homeland. With a more stable currency and growing opportunity, some may return, bringing with them capital, knowledge, and global networks. Those who remain abroad may become more willing to invest in family businesses or property within Iraq. That kind of outside support can accelerate domestic growth in ways formal aid often cannot. As we look at what's next, the next 6 to 12 months will be pivotal. The central bank's ability to manage monetary policy effectively, the government's capacity to coordinate development strategies, and the private sector's readiness to scale up, all will determine whether this momentum sustains. Iraq has the pieces on the table. Now comes the challenge of assembling them with discipline and vision. The absence of sanctions, the presence of U.S. support, and the groundwork laid by financial reformers have brought Iraq to this threshold. But thresholds require movement. Standing still is not an option. Continued progress will depend on whether these reforms remain a priority not just in Baghdad, but in every province, every community, and every ministry. At Iraqi Dinar News, we are committed to bringing you accurate, up-to-date information on every turn in this story. Our goal is to offer insight, not hype, and to ensure that you're equipped with the facts you need to make thoughtful decisions. Whether you're a long-time dinar holder, a recent investor, or someone simply hoping for a better future for Iraq, we'll be here reporting the truth as it unfolds. So as of today, the current date in the U.S. is July 28, 2025. The facts are clear. There are no sanctions currently imposed on Iraq. The United States has officially expressed its support for the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. The central bank is leading reforms with growing credibility, and financial interest in Iraq is on the rise globally. These conditions have created the most favorable environment for revaluation in over a generation. The road ahead won't be without challenges. Currency appreciation, public trust, political stability, All of these must be managed with care, but with determination, transparency, and continued support from international partners, Iraq has a real chance to reshape its economic destiny. Thank you for spending time with Iraqi Dinar News. If this update brought you clarity or inspiration, we invite you to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. Do you think this revaluation is the beginning of a new era? Are you optimistic about Iraq's role in the global economy? Share your views with us and be part of the conversation. Stay alert, stay informed, and most importantly, stay grounded in facts. The revaluation of the Iraqi dinar may well be remembered as a milestone in modern economic history, and we'll be here to cover it every step of the way.